guys, on the board, first of all, what is something that you know about? What's something that you know about? Tell me. They are all graphs. What is something else that we know about, Emmons? Well, yeah, they do have like lots of different data. Let's be a little more specific. They are different types of graphs. Can somebody be more specific? What do you see? What kind of graphs? Just call it out. I see a stem and leaf. That's right. This is a stem and leaf. And then I heard dot plot. This is a dot plot. Raise your hand if you think this is a bar graph. Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you do not think it's a bar graph. You don't think it's a bar graph? Why not? Oh, but you gotta be able to tell me. You can't just raise your hand because I did. I didn't. What about this? No, no. Why is it not a bar graph?
Because it has kind of like I don't know what to call it.
I'm listening.
I forgot what to call it.
Okay. Look really closely at it, guys. It's so similar to a bar graph. I want you to look really close. There's something that's different about it. What do you notice that's different than your average bar graph? Tell me. Y'all see it? What? No. The numbers on the bottom. Guys, look at these numbers on the bottom. What do y'all see?
They're like 6 to 7.
Right. These are called intervals. It's telling you from here to here. What I mean is this, the graph is about M&Ms as their favorite candy. If I ask you, how many 12-year-olds picked M&Ms as their favorite, can you answer that question?
No.
Why not?
Because it's not specific number.
Exactly. All you can see is that 11 to 15-year-olds. So you know 12-year-olds would be in here somewhere, but we don't know which ones are 12. Okay? This is a histogram. And that is the new piece for 6th grade. So in 5th grade, you knew stem and leaf and dot plot, but in 6th, histogram is new. Does everybody understand? So today, when you look at our objective for today, it says we can graph data on dot plots, stem and leaf, and histograms. Okay, so we're going to start with the histogram. So if you'll turn in your notes actually to the back, turn the back page, all the way to the back page. We're going to start with the histogram, okay? It says, a movie theater recorded the ages of the first 25 customers who bought tickets to see Star Wars: The Force Awakens. Use the data to construct a frequency table to match the histogram. Okay, so before we get started with that, just look at the histogram. You notice at the bottom, oh, I asked you to get a highlighter. Will you please highlight right here? My highlighter on the smartboard glitches my smartboard, so I'm just going to circle. So highlight that piece right there. Please, if you need a highlighter, that has on the box. Okay, you can see they range from 0 to 9. 10 to 19, your numbers are correct. 20 to 29, 30 to 39, and 40 to 49. Okay? We can tell how many people from 0 to 9 bought those tickets. How many people 0 to 9 bought those tickets? 2. That's right. We're going to write that number on top. Just like you would with a good old-fashioned bar graph. How many people between 10 and 19? Guys, if I'm writing, you're writing. How many people from 20 to 29? And from 30 to 39? And 40 to 49? 3. Okay? Right now, if I said, what's the mode of our data? Could you tell me? Yeah, here's the thing. I want you to be very careful. The mode is the number that appears the most often. Right? So the age that appears the most often looks like it goes in here, right? But in here, right? But here's the thing. That could be one person was 30, another was 31, another was 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, right? That would be 10 people. So then there was only one of each of those numbers. So would that be the mode? What if I told you in the 20 range, there was a 25-year-old, a 25, a 25, a 25, a 25? Well, then what's the mode? 25. So I'm telling you this because don't be fooled by thinking just because it was the tallest one, that's the one that was the most, okay? You cannot tell that from a histogram. It's tricky. The only way to know that is by looking at the actual data, okay? So now let's go ahead and look at this actual data and make a frequency table. A frequency table lists the intervals just like the histogram does. So 0 to 9, 10 to 19, 20 to 29, okay, and so on. And then it tells you the number of each one of those. Now, I could get it off of this graph right here, but instead, I actually want to go ahead and put these numbers in order, okay? You have a little space up here, you're going to need to write kind of small, okay? So go ahead and put these numbers in order. So we know that there are two of them between 0 and 9, so that there's an 8 and a 9. Okay, I'm actually going to help us out a little bit, okay? So just you can help me copy down. We know that there were 5 that are in the teens, right? So there's 10. I'm actually going to put mine over here. 10, you don't need to write this on the side. 10, 17, 14, 16, and 19. So now it's easier for me to see these to put them in order. In order, it would be what? 10, 14, 16, 17, 19. And then I can go ahead and cross out all these teens. And there were still 5 of them, right? Okay. In the 20s, there were also 5, right? I see 21, 22, 25, 28, 29. Okay, and there's 5 of them. So in order, they're actually already in order, right? 21, 22, 25, 28, 29. But then there were 10 in the 30s. So 31, 34, 38, 35, 38, 32, 30, 39, 35, 31. All of those 30s. Did I get all 10 of them? Let me count them. Did I get all 10? Yes. Now help me put them in order. What would be next? 30, 31. Oh, another 31. Then what? 32. Then what? 34. I'm out of space. 32, 34. Then what? 35, 35. 38, 38, 39, right? Okay. And let's make sure there were 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the last ones are the 40s. I only have a 45, a 41, and a 41. So 41, 41, 45. Okay. Now that we have done all of that, do you think that we can answer some questions about mean, median, mode, and range? Yes. Okay. What would be the mode? Tell me.
5.
The mode is 5. Remember, it's a piece of data. These are not pieces of data. These are frequencies, meaning how often that interval occurred. To answer the question I'm asking you, you guys have to look at the actual data. So what is the mode? What number appeared the most in our list? But I see 2 31s,
And then
2 35s, and 2 41s. So are all of those the mode?
yes.
Yes, 31, 35, and 41 are the modes, because it's like that exit ticket yesterday, right? There was more than one.
So if there wasn't any repeating numbers, would that be no mode?
Right, if there was no numbers up here that repeated, then there would be no mode. Okay? All right, now let's do the median. Can I find the median now? What numbers am I going to use for the median? All of these numbers up here. I know, it's kind of a hot mess. I got 30. Hey, isn't that what we said a second ago where I put my question mark? Didn't we say we thought that's where the mode was going to be? I mean, I'm sorry, the median? Okay, and how about the mean? You want to do the mean?
Oh,
No, nobody wants to do the mean. Why not? Way too much work. We're going to pretend that we did it. We're going to say we did. We didn't, okay? Mean. We're going to add them all up, and then we would be divided by the number, but we're not going to do it on this problem because that would be very, very long. Okay? Does anybody have a question about this histogram? Huh?
I don't have the mean that goes onto the node. Well, the node going onto the
You can't see it. Okay, thank you for asking. Earlier I said that here, this looks like where the mode should be because it was the tallest one. But what I was saying is inside of here, you don't actually know the numbers, but there could have been 30, 31, 32, 33, all the way up to 39. And I said what could have happened over here is that there was 25, 25, 25, 25. So if that had been the case, then this would have been the mode, not where this whole thing is. I said from looking at just the histogram, you can't tell what the mode is. The only way to know the mode is by looking at the actual data.
So the actual data is the mode.
That's where you're going to get the mode and the median and the mean, right? And the range, because we don't even know what the smallest number was, right? The only thing that the histogram is good for is letting us see intervals. Most people were in their 30s that bought a ticket. That's what we could see from that histogram. The least amount of people were 0 to 9 that bought a ticket. That's what it's for. Okay? Is everybody okay? All right. Now we're going to go back to the beginning and review dot plots and stem and leaf plots, and also talk about mean, median, mode with those. Okay? So if you will recall, a dot plot has dots sometimes, just like a one on the front. Well, what else could you use to make a dot plot? Tell me. Not on a dot plot. You could use X's though, right? It's up to you. What I mean is that just like I had up here, these were dots on the dot plot, you could also make using just X's. It's up to you. But to make it, you just start at the beginning. 5. You need a 5. Mark it out. Then you need a 2. Mark it out. 4. Mark it out, right? Keep going and build your dot plot, okay? Okay, so in 5th grade, you should have been able to make a dot plot like this one. And then you should have been able to answer simple questions like, what was the most amount, these are talking about runs scored by a softball team. You should have been able to say, what was the most runs scored? What was the least runs scored? What number was most common, right? Those were all 5th grade questions. So now what we're going to do is in 6th grade, we're going to talk about mean, median, mode, and range, but on a dot plot. Got it? Okay, so tell me, what's the easiest one to catch? What's the easiest one to talk about from the dot plot? Tell me, I can't hear you.
Oh,
The mode. The mode, because, which one is it? It's the one that we see the most of. So super quick, that's the one I would do first. I didn't have to do any work. I could see it, okay? Which one do you think would be the next easiest? Mean, median, mode, or range? Really? Okay. I think the range. It didn't ask me for that, but I could, because all I need is the high and the low. What's the highest number? 4. No. No. 10. What's the lowest number? 0. What's 10 minus 0? 10. Now what would be the next lowest? I mean, next easiest. The median. I agree. Now, there's 2 ways to do this, and I'm only going to show you this one because you might have a parent that might show you. This is not, I repeat, this is not my way. I would suggest you do it, okay? But you could, on a graph, you could go scratch, 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 like this, high, low, high, low. But see, the further you go, it can get a little bit confusing. I suggest instead to go ahead and make your list of least to greatest. It's super easy to do now that you have a dot plot, right? Let me undo that stuff for a second. Okay? Because all I need to do, I already have them. I have a 0, a 1, a 1, a 2, a 3, a 3, a 3. Do you see what I'm saying? Y'all see where I'm getting these numbers? I'm just copying them straight from here. It's the same numbers that were right here, but they're in order now. Okay, so let's go ahead and make our list. So 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 3, and then 7 4s, 4 5s, 2 6s, an 8, and a 10. I've made a list. Yes, ma'am.
The mode, sometimes there's like more than 1.
Yes.
But wouldn't it also be 3, 4, and 5? Because there's like.
Remember, the mode is the one that appears the most, and there are more 4s than anything else. If, let's pretend my 4s had stopped here, and let's say I had 4 4s and 4 5s, then you would say it's 4 and 5. But in this case, I have more 4s than anything else, okay? So now that I have my list, I can very easily cross little, big, little, big, little, big, and keep going. It's still 4, and that's great. I just want you to be cautious because sometimes it might appear that it's in the middle, but it's really not, okay? So the median was 4, okay? Now, let's talk about the mean because some of you, I think, were confused on the ticket yesterday. How do we find the mean? What do we do first? We add, then divide, okay? Today on our notes, I'm going to let us use a calculator. This is only because to save some time. This is a long lesson. When you get home and do your homework, I want you to do it by hand. Okay? So to save some time, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that the total here is 91. Okay? If I were to add all of those up, so write that down, you get 91. That's not the mean, that's the total. Then I'm going to divide by how many? That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Now let's see where I got those numbers. Excellent. Now, if you have a calculator on your device or something, please use that. I also have some little calculators on my table that you can borrow. You can use it in the Outlier right now. Okay, so if you put that in the calculator, you get 4.13, 6, something, something. Okay, we're not going to use all those digits. Let's just round that. We're going to put about, that little point, that means about 4.1. This 6 makes that 3. Do what? Rounding. It makes it go to a 4. Think about your rounding rules. Okay, so it's about 4.14. Again, on a quiz, we would never give you such hard numbers, I promise. But and on homework, we're going to have more time to work it. But just for class, we're going to use a calculator. Okay? All right. Let's come down here and talk about describing the spread. The maximum value. That means the one that is what, yes, I don't know. The biggest. Which number is the biggest? 10, very good. The minimum value is the one that is the smallest. What is it? 0. 0. Okay? The outlier. Okay, here's a new word. Highlighter. Go please highlight that word, outlier. What is the outlier? What is an outlier in general? Say again? No, kind of. It's like if I said everybody made a 90 or 100 on their quiz, and then somebody made a 17. That's an outlier because most people did really, really well, and then one person made a 17. That's an outlier. Guys, remember the video from earlier in the week with LeBron and Stephen Curry? Okay, and so remember they listed all the players' points. And so all the players' points were here, and then all the way over here, remember LeBron was way higher, and Stephen was even higher. Remember, he was like 1,900. And in the video, they talked about how those guys were like an outlier because they were way higher than the rest of their team. You remember that? Okay, so that's what an outlier is. So looking at our data right here, do we have something that's like not with the group? Tell me. Sure. He's over here hanging out all by himself. That's an outlier.
Because it's the highest.
That is not why. I could, if I had a piece of data that was over here, like -20, that would also be an outlier because it's over here hanging out by itself. Okay? Okay, now let's talk about down here. Clusters. Clusters. Highlight this word, clusters. Okay? Clusters is a grouping of data. If you look at the graph, most of the data is right around there. It's like grouped together. That's a cluster. We would say it's a clump. I love that word. It's a clump, okay? So it's from 3 to 6 or 3 to 5, you might see, okay? It's just where most of it is. Like yesterday on our quiz, most of the scores were clustered around 35 to 50. That's where most of it was. Did you have a question?
Okay. So the most data is between 3 and 5?
Yes, that's where most of the data lies. Okay? All right. Now, the last one here. It also has, circle that word or highlight that word, peak. I don't mean like peekaboo. I want you to think about a mountain peak. Where is the mountain peak? It's this high point up here, right? So in our data, do we have a peak? Yes. Where is it? It's at 4. That is a peak. Okay? Like a mountain. Like a mountain. Okay? And then it says that there's a cluster around the center. And that makes it, I want you to add a word here, mostly symmetric. Who remembers what the word symmetric means from 5th grade? What does it mean? What does it mean?
Like the same.
The same where? On both sides. That's what I was looking for. So think about like a butterfly, right? A butterfly, the wings are perfectly matched. Your face, each side of your face is pretty symmetrical, I think, right? Okay, so this, it's not perfect, right? It's not perfect, but if I was to draw a line right there, this side matches this side pretty well. It's not perfect, okay? What I mean is I don't have another peak over here, okay? Then it wouldn't be symmetrical, okay? Does anybody have a question? Can I go what? You want to use a calculator. Okay, I'll help you in a second. Okay, guys, on the next page, you guys see on the next page, there's one I would like for you to do with a partner. There's home positive. Did everybody see that there's decimal? Yeah. Good job. That should be 8.5. These are 9, 9.5, 10. Okay. Also, I will tell you the total. The total is. Do you want to already do it?
What? For me?
for the mean. The total is 83.5. Divide by, you'll have to figure that out, okay? Let's talk about the mean, guys. When you add 8.5, 8.5, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9.5, 10, and 11, you get 83.5. I just gave you that total, okay? And then you're going to divide by what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did you divide by 9?
Yes.
And what did you get?
9 point.
You had a calculator, 9.277, which would be 9.28, right? That's what it would round to. Okay? How about the median? Cross, 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 cross. 9. How about the mode? 9. It's right there in the middle there. 9. Okay? The maximum value in the data. It's the highest number. What is it? 11. The lowest number is? There is no data listed at 5. You're talking about where there's a dot. So 8.5 is the lowest one. The outlier, which is distant from the others, is what? 11. There's a gap there, and so he's hanging out by himself. Okay, thumbs up if you got all of those right. Excellent. The rest of you, I think, maybe didn't quite finish. All right. Okay, now we're going to go to stem and leaf. Okay. Stem and leaf, in my opinion, doesn't serve too terribly many useful purposes other than organizing your data so you can see it well. Okay. The stem, in this case, is going to be what? What are we talking about here? Look at these numbers. What kind of numbers are stem going to be? Where is it coming from? The 10. That's what I was looking for. It's coming from the 10th place. Our leaves are going to come from where? The ones place. Because if I take my very smallest number, which is what I need to do first, I need to put it in order first. 36. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's get to step 36. Then what? 37. Then what? 39. Then there's another 39. So you get them both as you're all writing this down. Yes. Okay. 48. 51. I'm just going to do these quick so you'll have them. 52, 53. 53, 54. 58, 59. 61, 62. 64, 64, and then 98. Okay? Let's make sure we got it all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Why did I do that?
Make sure you have all the numbers.
Because when am I going to need that piece of information? For the mean, that's right. Now let me hang out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Very good. Okay, so now that they're in order, it's really easy, I hope, for you to make your stem and leaf plot. I would start with 36. Okay, you need to make a key. The key is telling you, if I put a 3 and a 6 like that, I mean 36. Okay? If I had a key that said this, now what? 30.2. My line here is actually made a decimal. What if I didn't put this here? What might you think the number is?
32.
302. If I don't have this here, if this is gone, then it looks like 302. So you need to be careful. Okay, the key is important. All right, let's go back up to here and let's finish it out. So what's the next number?
37.
37. Do I write 37? What do I put? Do I write another 3 at all? I just need the 7. That's right. That's the whole point of a stem and leaf, is I'm gonna put all my all my 30s here on the same line, okay? Now we're gonna go to the 40s, 50s, 60s. Do I have any 70s? Or 80s? But I do have a 90, so I'm gonna skip all the way down here, okay? Go ahead and finish filling it in.
It's 90.
Okay, you can put a 7 and an 8 for the 70s and 80s and just leave it blank, or you could just skip it. Okay? Say again. I did. You don't have to. You could have put 98 as your mean. I just did it because it's number one. Okay? Now we can use this to come over here and talk about the spread. The maximum value is what? 98. The minimum value was what? 30 what? 36. Guys, maximum means if y'all, okay, if you're having trouble, no one's asking me, but yet no one's answering, so it makes me think you don't know. Maximum means the highest number. The highest number. Minimum means the lowest number of the data, okay? The outlier, which one was distant? Which one is the outlier, guys? How do you know? Yes, because we went from 64 all the way to 98. We had a huge gap there. So the outlier is 98, okay? Now let's talk about the median. Okay, there's two ways to do the median. One way I'm not a fan of, the other way I prefer. The way that some of you might do it is on here, like to cross it out here like this. Like the small one, big, small, big, small, big, like I'm doing like this. And just keep doing this, but some people don't like that. And then if you do that, that makes the median, is the median 3? What's the median? 53. You gotta remember to pick up that tenth. A better way to do it, the surefire, never get it wrong way, is to go back to your original list where we listed them in order and then do it. Small, big, like this. Okay? It's not hard, but it's a little bit long. Okay? The mean. All right. If I was to add 36, 37, 39, 39, all the way down to 98, I'm going to go ahead and give you the total to save us some time right now. Okay? If I was to add them up, I get 928. So how do I find the mean? It would be 928 divided by, not 2. How many pieces of data do we have? 17. Remember this? When I said I got that from counting? Remember? Okay, so now we're going to do 928 divided by 17. Go ahead and type it in your calculator. And actually, because this is a video, I'm going to come down here and review that. So 928 divided by 17. 17 would go over here 5 times, right? 85. And we get 7. Bring down this 8. It would go, what happened? 4, thank you. 4 times 17 is 68. I get 10. I put a decimal, add a 0. Some of you had trouble yesterday on the exit ticket with your division. It would go 5 times, which again is 85. And then that would be 15. Then it's going to go 8 times, and then I think there's another number after that. Okay? Okay? So we'll call it 54.58. Okay? That's going to be our mean. We'll put 54.58. And again, that's an estimate. All right? The score 98 is an outlier because it's much higher than other scores. If it were not, this is new. If it were not included, The mean would be lower because it adds more to the sum of the data points. However, the median would be about the same. What does that mean? Okay, guys, look. I'm picking up a different color marker, so don't write this down. If I was to get rid of 98, how would that affect the median? What would happen? The median was here, so it would move over a half a step, right? So it would still be 53. Any change? No. But now let's talk about the mean without the number 98. Use your calculator right now to take the number 928. So type in 928. Subtract 98 because we took it out. Are you doing it with me? I hope y'all are doing it because I'll have it written down on my paper. Okay, and then we're going to divide by how many? Not 17, 16 because we took one out. And what did you get? What's the new mean? 51 from what? 875. So now look at the new mean compared to the old mean. See how it changed it? The point is that taking out that one outlier did not change our median very much, but it changed the mean a lot. Again, think back to the LeBron James and that video. That's exactly what he was saying. If you took out LeBron and Stephen Curry, the median was a better sense of data because it didn't change it very much versus it changed the mean a whole lot more. Yes, sir? We're about out of time. I could have, but we're now about out of time. Okay, look. Hang on, please. So, if you look, that was the end of, I think that was the end of Sim and Lee. Oh, no, we had this one, but we didn't get to it. Okay, so no worries. Oh, don't start playing up yet. Listen, if I were you, I would do this one and then check it on campus, like as practice. But your actual homework is the other page, the page that was separate. Okay, this is due tomorrow. Okay, where should you put both of these papers right now? No, in your shield because they're homework. Okay.